Greetings and salutations, I am Crom the Pale, and this is my 7 Days to Die guide for new players. It is day 5, and it is time for us to start building a base. Now, before I begin, I want to talk a little bit about bases in general and why they're useful and what types of bases people go with. There is a game style some players have adopted they refer to as nomadic, where they do not build a base at all, and they simply travel from city to city and do quests and continue that way and survive as they can, utilizing different POIs that they come across. It's a fun thing to do, but it is very difficult, and I don't suggest it for new players. The main reason you want a base is for storage, for crafting, and for protection. There are two different types of bases that generally people will build. You'll build a standalone horde base and a standalone crafting base, or you'll build a combined base which has both crafting and storage and horde knight capabilities. The idea of separating them is so that the horde base fails and has a catastrophic structural failure, you don't lose everything. Because if a, say, storage box or a workstation is built above the ground and it collapses landing on the ground, you will lose everything inside that. It will be destroyed if it's a workstation. So there are some risks to combining the two. Another option is doing like we've done so far, is making use of a POI. I don't necessarily have to build a base from scratch. I could take a POI like this one or like any other building in a city or town and convert it, knock down walls, remove doors, windows, do whatever I wanted to create my own base. That is something I highly recommend in the later game stages. In the early game stages, it can be very time consuming to do so. Now, before I get too far in, I'm going to actually start playing. One thing I should point out is yesterday I went and on the end of day 4 I raided that little shack behind us, and I actually lucked into 2 wrenches. So we have everything we need now to make a workbench. So I can do that, but before I do that, I want to get to work on our base. I didn't bring everything I need for it, so I gotta go back. What I'm looking for is the cobblestone. I thought I had more than that. There we go. And I may end up buying even more. Okay, so here's the location I've picked for my base. It's a wide open, relatively flat area, and it's quite close to the trader. Now, the particular style of base I've come up with is what I call an expandable base. So I'll be able to make it larger as time progresses. So I'm going to start off with just a single block. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can build a base. I personally have a design in mind before I start building. And this particular design is relatively simple. However, it's not necessarily 100% worked out in my head. I'm gonna go kill this zombie before he is attracted to me. I'm gonna try and show all of the building in this, which is probably going to make it a slightly longer video than previous ones. So this is the basic layout here, with this being my ridge up. Now, one of the beauties of working with frames is that you can pick them up after you place them down. If I hold R, I bring up this wheel here, and I can click on shape, and I can pick any shape I want, and then place it. I can pick it up. I can hold R again and click advanced rotation, and then by clicking my left mouse button, I can change its rotation 360 any way I want. Now I'll go back to the shape I want. So this particular base style is one that I came up with. It was inspired by a few other people. See, my character's getting tired here. Some of the perks that you can pick up that improve your stamina are also useful when base building. Wait a little bit and get my stamina. So the base right here isn't going to be particularly huge. However, I can expand it backwards as far as I want, and I can expand it over in both directions. It's another reason why I picked this particular field. So I have to decide if I want to go one block higher or stay at this height. Going one block higher might give me a little more, protection and help with the pathing, but it also is going to cost a lot more blocks. So I'm going to look at how much wood I have. I'm going to make another 100 frames. And when you make the frames, they automatically go to where you have them. It didn't cost too much wood, so I am going to go one block higher all the way across. This is going to allow me to make a very nice platform where I can put everything I want. That's a little far out, so I won't be able to reach it. Now, you can create cobblestone or cement blocks and build with them. The downside to doing that is you then are forced to deal with the possibility that if you place one down and it's not in the right spot, you cannot pick it up and move it. So as long as you're 100% certain you've placed every block correctly, you can go ahead and do that. But again, there's always going to be that risk. So I am going to do a separate video that covers exactly how building works as far as support blocks, how much weight each block can hold, and the way it determines that in this game is less about the block and more about the position. So it's horizontal rather than vertical weight. But vertical weight does play a part in it. It's just a very odd layout. So, the way this is set up is I'm going to have a window here that allow me to shoot down here, and I'm going to have a doorway here for the zombies to come in, and this is what they're going to be walking on. I'm going to go over to this poles, and I'm going to select this pole here. It's a very thin pole. I'm going to rotate it, and pressing R, if I over-rotate, rotates backwards. There. Now, fortunately, the zombies see this as a viable path, so they'll walk on that as if it was a solid block. However, because it's so thin, if two zombies are stuck here and one shifts to the right or left even just a bit, they'll fall off. Now here is my path. I gotta build this up here. And then this is going to be how they get up. And to make it easier, I can build up on the side ramps to help them get up, and I'll do that as well. And in order to create sort of a place here for them to kind of stockpile, I can do that. And so what'll happen is they'll so you can see it kind of taking shape here, so that the zombies are going to run, they're going to jump up, and they can build up down here, and I don't have to worry too much. I'm not going to fill in this side until I upgrade those blocks, however. I also need to make my hatch to prevent them from getting through. So, what I like to do is I'm going to change these blocks to wedges. And, oops, for some reason that didn't happen. I didn't pick the wedge. I selected the category and I didn't select the actual block. And I don't use these for any reason other than it gives me a sense of more room to work with. Oops. There. 3 high on that side. And then I'm going to rotate around. Oops. And go 3 high on this side. And I can go back to being, if I go copy shape, there we go, it'll copy the shape of what I'm using right here. And right here, I'm going to go with a different shape again. I'm actually going to go back up to the squares, and I want to take a plate and try to decide which plate I want to use. I can use a flat plate or a slightly thicker one. The pole plate works. It's just a matter of preference. There was a moment, for a very brief period of time, where the Fun Pimps decided they were going to change the hit points of this particular block. They very thankfully rescinded that decision and went with giving these full hit points rather than reducing them by 75%, which would have made a lot of these builds less practical. You still could have technically done them, but it would have been a lot more risk versus reward. I could add a front window here, And that's what I probably... Actually, no, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to take this out even. I'm going to go with a different block. I'm going to go with this block. And I'm going to angle it. Of course, the game decided to rain on my parade. There. That's not what I want either. What did I want? I think I'm just going to go with a full block. Sometimes having 1,300 different block shapes can be a little too much. I'm actually going to leave an entrance on this side, as well as an entrance on the back here. A lot of this I won't be upgrading because I'll be leaving it for expansion. So again, I could put a window here if I was playing multiplayer to give another angle of attack for other players, but since I'm playing solo, I don't need to worry about that. I do need to change this block, or add a double pole block here, and I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to add a... yeah, I guess that will. Oh, with a wedge. Again, I gotta rotate it. There. So, Horde Night, I'll be standing right here fighting the zombies. To prevent them from coming through here, I'm going to have to build something to stop them, and that's going to be a wooden hatch. I'm going to craft that, and I also need a wooden shutter or two. Now the hatch is going to go right here, and I'm going to turn it like this. So it's going to go up like that. Now I need to swap my axe for a hammer so I can upgrade a little better. That's actually the block below it. So eventually I'll be upgrading all of these. But that gives you an idea of the basic layout. Now I gotta build my secondary entrances, so these gotta go back to being full blocks. And I can see I need a lot more blocks, so what I'm gonna do is look at the frame shapes, and I'm gonna make another 100 of these. So, only 200 wood, but... So to get up here, I'm going to... that, and then right here, I'm going to change the shape and select a ladder. I saw something move. Oh, it's a rabbit. Okay. I'm going to eat some food there because I'm hungry. Now it's difficult to see, but I've placed a ladder there, so if I jump there, I now have a ladder up and in. And then I'm going to add more ladders to the side here. So you can see there's, what, 3 blocks off. So I'll do the same thing here. And it'll be at, well, I'm going to put the ladder up here first. Make myself another block. And go 1, 2, 3. Line it up. And there, I've got another entrance. I can just get a copy block to give me the ladder again. There. So I've got 2 quick and easy ways in and out of the base. And I'm not going to upgrade these blocks because I expect I'll expand this base backwards once I have more wood. Now another option I have is to upgrade using poles my support structures. And this is something I highly recommend doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build these poles here. I'm going to rotate. And I can remove these because they're now supported. And I can add this. Now these poles have the same amount of health as a full block, but they're much smaller, which means zombies can pass through them with much less difficulty. So I'm going to do the same here. I need to rotate this. And remove this. I understand why the devs didn't really like that players were doing this, because it does feel a little bit cheaty in a sense, because you are getting 4 times the strength for a quarter of the area. But realistically, the zombie pathing is what's causing this. If zombies were designed, the AI, to path around objects instead of just getting stuck on something they could clearly walk around, we wouldn't need to resort to such things as this. But it's a video game, and if you make the AI too smart, the players would all be dead. The downside to using 4 times as many blocks, of course, is it costs 4 times as many resources to upgrade. Now, one little cheat you can get away with is the fact that most zombies are going to be attacking at this height. Aside from dogs and spiders, all zombies attack at eye level. So, if I upgrade these at eye level only, that means the zombies are only going to be attacking the upgraded blocks. Now, I still want to upgrade these, and eventually I'll fully upgrade them. But the worst thing would be if I came by and accidentally pressed E and lost my base because I took something away. So, this video is, like I said, I'm trying to do as few edits as possible with this video, but it's going to make it a very long video. So I'll probably do a cut from this point forward and come back when the base is actually completed, because a lot of what I do is going to be basically just upgrading this overall look. The shape's laid out, it's just a matter of adding higher walls, a roof, and gathering a lot more resources. So you might see a lot of these trees are gone when you come back. So I'll see you when you return.
Greetings, stranger. I've got the best deals in Ravisgain. Can you do me a favor? God bless you, and good luck.
And welcome back. As you can see, the base has progressed substantially. I haven't finished it yet, but it has made a good progression. It is now nighttime. I'm still working on the base, and I'll continue working throughout the night. But this is pretty much as much of the base that's going to be upgraded at this point. I probably won't have a roof on this base come Horde Night. layout certainly shouldn't change. What's going to happen is, assuming we survive the Horde Night, I will have upgraded this base to include a roof, and I'll push the back wall out slightly. So now I can open these. So I can use these to attack anything like a wolf or a dog or even a spider zombie that are too close and too low to attack with melee or shoot even. I'm going to upgrade this, but I'm going to need a hatch. Now I should leave windows here, which is why I'm not upgrading these sides fully, so I can see zombies. It'd be nice if one would spawn so that I could pull them in and give you a quick demonstration. You can see that I'm dehydrated because I haven't got anything to drink. I haven't been back to my old base in a bit. And so day 5 comes to an end. The base is now built. It's not complete, but it is as complete as is required for the upcoming Horde Night, and I will see you all on day 6.